If you really look at yourself, you would be speechless. What happened to being doctors and teachers? What happened to being...
Yo, what is poppin'? It's your boy, Mr.BandClap, and we in the building with another video. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done this. So last week, I'm still doing this research on, the Divine Nine, stuff like that. And before I got sick, which I knew I was going to end up getting sick, I jotted down some voice notes about some things that I want to talk about with this and stuff like that. And it ended up being like an hour worth of voice memos. So I just said, forget it. I'm gonna just turn this into a podcast. This is gonna be kind of talking about a basketball reference that I got while I was in meditation about AI, and how in basketball AI, or Allen Iverson, was called the answer, and what is his biggest achievement. One of the biggest things that Allen Iverson is known for, among other things, is how he crossed over Michael Jordan and how that was so iconic and all of that stuff. So I started to kind of think, I got my spliffy, something I ain't had in a long time. So I started thinking, I'm like, basketball and Hollywood, like all of this stuff is interconnected. So was the higher ups really trying to tell us something with the whole thing about AI being the answer? The fact that Allen Iverson looked up to Michael Jordan, and also Kobe. Not only did he emulate Michael Jordan, but Kobe looked up to Allen Iverson. Very interesting. So, this is going to be a journey. I hope I don't lose nobody in this. This is just a discussion, just an observation. So, we got a lot to talk about. So let's get this show on the road.
Activate.
Yo, this is Ludacris.
What's going on? This is Drake.
It's Tiger Young Money Zone.
It's your boy Wiz Khalifa, man.
This is Big Sean.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Kanye West.
It's Jay-Z.
Yo, this is your boy Weezy.
You're in the mix
with the DJ always banging the real hip-hop. DJ
BandClap.
You're in the mix
with the DJ always banging the real hip-hop. DJ
BandClap.
You're my missing piece, I don't wanna live without you. You're my missing piece, I don't feel at home without you. 'Cause I'm nothing without you. I've been running away from the sun. Got obsessed when it's all said and done. They can't tell me that you're not the one. So baby, come and find me. You need to come and find me. 'Cause I'm down when you're far away, yeah. When you're gone, I don't sleep for days, yeah. I've been stuck in the darkest days, yeah. Can't you see what I'm trying to say? I'm nothing without you. I'm nothing without you. I'm nothing without you. I'm nothing without you.
I said 5 in the morning, I wake up to 5 of my eyes. Fear in my mind is a warning. Pray to the one you're relying. I've been wandering all day. Tried to be fine, but I can't be. The noise in my mind wouldn't leave me. Tried to get by, but I'm burning. I'm behind, my mind it runs. All these thoughts are troubling. Fighting to give up my pain. Fighting to be on my lane. My mind running to the other side. When it's time to leave my life, then it tries to take me out. Tell you what I need, right? Yeah, I really need time now. I need a free mind now. I really need mine now. I need to free my mind now. I really need time now. I need to free mind now.
If I have to risk my peace of mind, tell the devil you look, boy, you ain't find it. I'm not where I really want to be. So please don't try and heavy me, but no, cause plenty was pressure already. So I ain't losing no sleep for nobody. I don't know if you will notice, but I own money and progress. If you have ulterior motive, hear me loud and play. Don't call it. I don't want them people calling. Cause I own a different vibes, and you want some different vibes. Oh, don't call it. And anyway I see them pass, it's a big way. No long talk, no small talk, it's a big way. I go hear from a distance, it's a big way. No talk, we don't talk, it's a big way.
I've been chasing the moon and the stars, 'cause I've been trying to be where you are. Could it be that I'm searching too hard? I wish you'd come and find me. Won't you come and find me? 'Cause I'm down when you're far away, yeah. When you're gone, I don't sleep for days, yeah. I've been stuck in the darkest stage, yeah. Can't you see what I'm trying to say? I'm nothing without you. I'm nothing without you. I'm nothing without you. I'm nothing without you.
This is the peace that you cannot buy. Send me in love that you cannot mix. One is the joy that you cannot waste, and the other one price that you cannot fix. This is the peace that you cannot buy. Finding a way where you cannot see. Man with this system you cannot pray. I need to find relief. But behind my mind it runs. All these thoughts have trouble me. Funny to give up my babe. Funny to be on my lane. My mind running to the other side. When it's time to leave my life, then it tries to take me out. Tell you what I need. Right here, I really need my love. I need to free my love. I really need China. I need to free my mind now. I really need China. I need to free my love. I really.
You're my missing piece, I don't wanna live without you. You're my missing piece, I don't feel at home without you. You're my missing piece, I don't wanna live without you. You're my missing piece, I don't feel at home without you. You're my missing piece, I don't wanna live without you. You're my missing piece, I don't feel at home without you. 'Cause I'm nothing without you.
Yo, what is poppin'? Before the video starts, I just want to let you all know that I give readings, just like the ones that you see every Monday on my channel. I give on point Orisha Tarot card readings for singles and also for couples. I also do natal chart consultations. My Everything is Everything reading is by far my bestseller. If you want to check out any of these services, please visit my website at www.bandclaptv.com. So again, if you want to check these things out, go to my website, www.bandclaptv.com. All right, on with All right, y'all. So we back. Welcome to another BandClap TV. I don't know if it's gonna be a rant video or what. I just didn't feel like doing a live stream. I did want to make some content. I don't know how long this video is gonna be. Shout out to everyone who checked out my on point Orisha Terry video. The thing that I said for Tuesday, now, you know, it's Wednesday, you know, actually it's Thursday, my bad. Actually it's Thursday. And I got a gig in the morning for 2 days, and then I actually got called to do another gig for 2 more days, you know, on down the line this month. So slowly but surely things are starting to pick back up. I said Tuesday, a lot of things are going to be changing, even with the climate. I'm used to being in Miami where it's super hot. Now coming back to Orlando where at night it get down to like 65. I knew I was going to end up going through some ascension symptoms. One thing that I'm starting to kind of notice, at least when it comes to me, like sometimes nature, sometimes spiritually, you have to be put into a position to where it's almost like you're forced to take a back seat. I would get into a position to where I get privy to some real deep information. First thing I want to do is tell the people. But a lot of times it's not time to put the information out. Sometimes it's like I might get like 1 or 2 things, and then I'm thinking that that's all, but it's actually a lot more that goes into it. So a situation happened like this to where right when I'm about to just gear up for another series, different things get put into my path that kind of slows me up from doing that. You know, I started to get sick. Now I got these gigs that I got to do. So, you know, I'm not gonna really have the time to go live like I wanted. The main thing that I remember though, when I was asking the Baby founders, I was asking them, how do I need to tell this information? You know, how do I need to break this down? Like, what is the goal? And the way it was broke down to me, it was like a basketball reference. And this is probably why I'm gonna name this video. I don't know what I'm gonna name it yet, but I know it's gonna have something to do with Iverson. And at the end of the day, this is the reason why people like Kobe had to go. This is the reason why people like Kyrie have to be punished. And this is the reason why there has to be a Steph Curry. If you can really get this analogy, and you can really understand where I'm coming from with this, and you know, this is the reason why it's very important. Now we're in the time now to where things really don't need to be handled with kid gloves anymore. We don't live in a world to where things have to be hidden behind other stuff. You know, now we live in a world now that a lot of our forefathers and our foremothers fought for. We live in a world now to where a lot of them wished that they could be the age I am in the age that I'm in. They would do anything to be in the world like that. And some of these people are coming back within the children that are being born right now. You know, the children that are being born in this generation right now, they're going to have access to way more information than we ever had coming up. Which also means that, you know, the type of conscious mind and the type of knowledge that you need to have as a mother and a father before you even think about wanting to have children right now, is going to be very pivotal. If not, it's going to be extremely hard for you to raise children up in this day and time that we're in now. Hopefully I don't sound too nasally on this recording either, because I'm going through it with this early ascension symptoms. But let's think about basketball, because it's a good way for me to make all of this come together. So think about how basketball started. It wasn't that crazy of a sport when it first started. It was majority white people. It was kind of bland. And then, as we know, everything that happened with integration and all of that. So other leagues started to come about that used the same basketball format, but they added different other things to it. Every time that black people integrate into anything, since a lot of times the reason why we integrated in it, we didn't get the formal training that everybody else got. So we always end up adding pizzazz into everything that we've ever got into. Not only do we add pizzazz to it, a lot of the pizzazz is out of rebellion. It's us just trying to be original in this all-white system, or this all-white sport, or this all-white religion, or whatever, however deeply you want to go with this. So just like with the Negro Leagues and all of that stuff, a lot of things that these other leagues were implementing into their game, it started to make those leagues a lot better to watch, entertainment wise. So things started to integrate to where a lot of the things from those other leagues started to merge. And this is why we have the pretty much damn near monopoly conglomerate known as the NBA that we have today. A lot of what makes the NBA so entertaining today came from those other leagues. That one thing was what made them so popular and so entertaining. So there was one thing that those other leagues had that the NBA didn't really have like that. The NBA had a very rigid and very strict rule system that they go by. The reason why those other leagues were so entertaining was because it wasn't as strict. The rules and stuff, it wasn't as strict as the NBA. This is kind of what separates the 90s NBA Jam video game from the NBA 2K. It's getting to the point now to where more people have more fun at playing a NBA Jam game from the 90s than playing the microtransaction simulated animation realistic based 2K22 or whatever, because of this same thing. So throughout the years, you've had players like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You've had players like Dr. J. The other player, I think his name was like Abdul Raif or something like that. You had certain basketball players who came up in the time where there were multiple leagues. And, they, in their stint in the NBA, they tried their best to latch on and hold on to whatever originality that they was able to before the NBA started to make rules to outlaw certain things. Because we all know, no matter how you slice it, street ball will always be more entertaining than organized sports. Whether it's street football, whether it's street basketball, and you even had video game companies in the early 2000s like EA being able to financially capitalize off of that. All of this ties in. So now, we're in the late 90s. Hip hop is really rampant now. The streetwear, the more black people they've let in the music industry, and the more black people that they allowed in certain spaces, the more those spaces had to figure out how can we integrate the street element to where we can have people from the hood aspiring to want to be a part of our organization without putting such a stain on our organization that would make the non-black investors and companies that made us who we are not want to work with us anymore, because our organization is getting too urban. There used to be a real big word back in the day, urban. So certain key black players started to get elevated in order to make more races of people, especially black people, want to tune into the NBA to give it the ratings that it ended up getting. And since we know that at the end of the day, Hollywood is not only present when we talk about music, entertainment, sports is also a part of that as well. Which means that if we know that, these, higher ups are pretty much trying to recreate classic mythologies and stuff like that within the artist that they choose to elevate, and then they get killed off and all of that. It's nothing but a theater play to them. What makes you think that this same thing didn't happen in basketball? So as we know, in the late 90s, the rise of Michael Jordan, who will go on to be the person that we know now as the GOAT. A lot of people who came up seeing Wilt Chamberlain play and seeing other black pioneers in basketball and stuff like that, they may not agree, but for all of us who came up and saw Michael Jordan play in the 90s, it's like we knew back then that he was going to most likely end up being the GOAT. So in comes the 1996 through 2000 draft class, the class that we all know so well, because there was someone in that, well, there was a lot of people, not just one, but there was a lot of people in that draft class that was going to end up being some very iconic, very powerful basketball players. The main one out of that draft class being none other than Allen Iverson, known as AI. He ended up getting Rookie of the Year his first time in Philly. And then we all remember that infamous play in March of 97 when the answer crossed over the GOAT.
Am I going to try to get Allen Iverson back to what he did when he did the crossover?
Iverson draws Jordan now.
No, I mean, that was a great move. I'm never the type of guy that says, I can't get shown up. I just try to limit those opportunities. So I'm not going to try to make it a one-on-one thing between Allen Iverson and myself, because we never know if we have to play a one-on-one game. I think he can beat me on the perimeter, but I can take him in close. But he's a heck of a player. He's a young talent, and I think he's going to continue to get better once he learns how to play the game on a much higher scale. I mean, right now he's doing a lot of physical ability. He's good. He's quick. That's a challenge for me to try to go out to his stature and so quick. But it's a challenge that I'm back away from. He may cross over on me again. At least I'm going to get out there.
And we all, even to this day, we all know how powerful that situation was. It wasn't just that the Bulls still ended up winning that game. It wasn't the fact that Allen Iverson never won a ring. Out of all the things that you can say about Allen Iverson, one thing reigns true that he did. He was one of the first people, one of the first young people to really, really show us that the GOAT had a chink in his armor. A lot of us ain't never seen Michael Jordan embarrassed like that before. And we can't forget about how much Allen Iverson looked up to Michael Jordan. When you think about Allen Iverson's contribution to basketball, his contribution to the NBA, it's almost similar to Kirk Franklin's. It's almost similar to Kirk Franklin's contribution to gospel, in a way. Because when you think about Allen Iverson's style of play, when you think about his attitude, when you think about how flashy he was, when you think about, the way he dressed and all of those type of things, it reminded you of the streets. It reminded you of playground basketball. And back then, we had and one and all of that type of stuff. So the amalgamation enigma known as Allen Iverson, he was looked at as the answer because he was the one out of many who tried and failed. He was the one that was finally able to cross over who and what we thought was unable to ever be crossed over. And, I'm pretty sure that Allen Iverson knows this now, but Allen Iverson, or AI, was never meant to be shown as someone who actually got the ring, because we know ring represents commitment. Ring represents restriction in a way when you think about it on a esoteric type of level. It almost made sense on that level to why he never won a ring. But with Allen Iverson being who he was on a unique type of level. Just him alone, he created a lane. He created a lane to where you can still bring some of those playground antics into the NBA due to the lane that Allen Iverson created. And if you can perfect a lot of the things that Allen Iverson wasn't necessarily able to compromise on with his attitudes and things like that, then you could possibly and undoubtedly win a championship. And when you think about the rise of Kobe Bryant, he is the antithesis of that, literally. He knew at the end of the day, the Michael Jordan moveset package, everything about Michael Jordan, he had to emulate. If he wanted to be, you want to get the status of the GOAT, you have to emulate the GOAT. But it's one thing that Kobe said that was very key. He said that at the end of the day, everybody wanted to be like Mike. But Kobe, he idolized AI. You know, he idolized Allen Iverson style of play. So now you got somebody, they've emulated the GOAT so much to where you can take a play from Kobe and you can take a play from Jordan and it's damn near identical. To the point where, you know, Michael Jordan did an interview and he was like, the only person that could probably beat me one-on-one is Kobe because he's just going to use all my moves. So now you got Kobe. He's a triple threat because he got the foundation from, you know, greats like Hakeem Olajuwon, who taught him about defense. And then you got Michael Jordan, who a lot of his offense comes from Michael Jordan. And then he got that Allen Iverson in the mix too. So this is what made Kobe such a triple threat. And this is someone that the System of Soulless Beings dreads to happen because Kobe, he very well would have ended up being as monumental to the youth outside of basketball as he was inside of basketball. And being honest with you, this has really always been the battle. You know, this has always been the battle. You're somebody who got this great potential, but you're not noticed by anybody. So the System of Soulless Beings sees you as someone who can be used as a battery to power what they got going on. And see, the main thing that they're banking on is that they can prematurely elevate you to the point where you're looked at as a star, and they're able to harness the energy that you end up pushing out because of that. And the main thing that they're banking on is that you get elevated so high to the point where, you know, when they're done with you, you know, you don't really have no power left, to where in order for you to stay on this high horse that you've been prematurely elevated to, you pretty much got to be dependent on them for your image. So pretty much your image and your likeness is in their hands. And as soon as you start to notice that's really not the case, you start learning how to elevate your image and your likeness outside of what Hollywood has done for you. You start figuring it out. Before you get to the point where you can start elevating the other masses of people, that they can start doing that too, you know, you start showing a alternate way, that's when you got to get up out of here. And this is the reason why we was never able to truly see what the Sage Mamba could have gave us. Because with all the knowledge that Kobe has amassed, you know, with all the knowledge that Michael Jackson has amassed, with all the knowledge that people like Julio has amassed from being in the industry, you know, you don't mean to tell me that being able to be a part of this system that AI is starting to be the answer for, that they wouldn't end up creating a lane for themselves to where they can cross over and be the GOAT without the system's help. If Michael Jackson would have been able to transcend performing and opened up his own dance studio, you know, opened up his own MJJ record label like he had, and been able to take all of those catalogs that he got from Sony, create his own conglomerate label enterprise, to the point where you're like, yo, fuck being on Sony, fuck being on Universal. I want to be a part of Michael Jackson's label. Heard he treating everybody right there. They able to do what they've always wanted to do and all of this type of stuff. Y'all don't understand. That's really what this is about at the end of the day. because of the Yonsei effect that I talked about in my last Orisha astrology video, you still got a sad majority of us who still idolize the Michael Jordan system of being the GOAT. Now we're going deeper. Hopefully you're able to keep up with this. To the point where even when you have certain people to come out with evidence showing that if things were actually 100% straightforward, 100% down the middle, you can't truly say with a straight face that Michael Jordan still would have been as iconic as he was. And the story of Allen Iverson rise to fame, for people who really want to be known as the GOAT and get all the accolades and things that comes with you being known as the GOAT. Even though we respect Allen Iverson, for somebody who wants to be the GOAT, they're going to still go towards the Michael Jordan system, simply because Allen Iverson, he never got a ring for his style. Even though a lot of the players that's coming in now, even with people like KD and all of that, you know, they tell you that they looked up to Allen Iverson as well. But they couldn't 100% emulate his style because they wanted to win rings. The only person who I could see who really alchemically showed you how it should be done is Kobe, which was dangerous because Kobe showed you that you could use the formula for the GOAT, aka Michael Jordan, for your foundation. You can still use some of the flashiness and some of the swag and pizzazz of Allen Iverson to show your originality. But see, the main thing that Kobe brought into the game, which is arguably the same thing that we can say about Floyd Mayweather in boxing, is that Kobe, he showed you the hard work that it takes to perfect your game. The one thing that we felt like could have made Allen Iverson even greater, which was practice, is the one thing that Kobe, he did so much of that, we would almost say that Kobe would have been able to keep himself more healthy if he didn't practice so much. So in their eyes, as long as someone like Kobe is alive, there will still be a hope. You know, there will still be a glimmer of hope to a soul who wants to go in that same path and walk in those same footsteps as the greats before them. And as we see what's going on now in the game of basketball, Steph Curry is looked at as the new version of AI that's changing the world of basketball again, to the point where now shooting ridiculously long-range shots is starting to be something that people want to do en masse now because of Steph Curry. And as we see, the NBA as we know it has changed a lot since his influence is really starting to permeate within the game of basketball. So I was thinking last night what I was saying about how AI is the answer. And this was in basketball, but this is also something that I'm starting to see in the whole entertainment spectrum, and even bigger than that. In the music game, we're seeing how AI is starting to dominate with the advent of these playlists on Spotify and the algorithms, and you know, all of this stuff has to do with AI, and how really AI was the answer to really bring back the music industry as we know it. Record companies and stuff like that has been losing a lot of money with the advent of pirating music, you know, illegal downloads and all of that stuff. And that's been going on ever since the advent of sites like Napster and LimeWire and FrostWire and stuff like that. So now, with the advent of AI, you don't necessarily need to be in a record label anymore if you want to get hot. If you know how to work the algorithm, you can have more people watching your live stream on YouTube than viewers who watch Fox, or viewers who watch CNN and all of that type of stuff. And as you're seeing, even they are converting to AI. Now, the Michael Jordan GOAT system that permeates through all of this is still hanging on as being the GOAT, even though AI's influence has slowly been permeating and making a change. Even in the film, video game, animation type of world, you know, I talk about this all the time. For someone like me who doesn't really have art experience like that, someone who can't draw that good, but I'm a great storyteller. I have these ideas. I'm willing to work hard in order to get those ideas out. AI has been the answer for me to finally be able to come out with my own animated 3D animated cartoon series. I never thought that something like this would be possible, but because AI is starting to move so fast when it comes to the innovations and stuff like that, we have things like the Unreal Engine 5. You know, we have companies like Real Illusion creating these programs like Character Creator and iClone and stuff like that significantly cuts the time that you would have to spend, the many hours that you would have to learn keyframe animation and character creation and character modeling and all of those type of things. And now with the advent of AI generated textures, you know, you can literally put a picture in this AI program and it can literally generate different types of art and stuff like that. So someone like me who is a creator, this is a grand thing for me. This is opening up doors for me that I never dreamed of. Even though we have the YFN Mika automation aspect of AI, which at the end of the day, that's what happens with the change of any system. That happens with change, period. Every time a new program is created, that means that a service or something like that was once produced by hand can now be produced at a faster type of rate. It doesn't always mean better. It always depends on how intricate the programming is. But this is also the reason why you've had ambassadors. And these are ambassadors, you know, these are people who were very influential in pioneering the old way. In their life, you have certain people, you know, their life path is to be an ambassador of the old way, because if it wasn't for you, the old way would be forgotten about. So can't be mad at the older minded people who can't see anything positive about this AI, because you know you have to be able to understand it. It's not meant for everybody to make it in this new time that we're coming in. But if you can find a way to make something that you've always been trying to make come true, and you're able to make it come true because of this new AI that is going to end up being the next answer, you know, just got to roll with it. So I bet y'all wondering, okay, so what does any of this have to do with the goal that I'm trying to do with this Divine Nine discussion? So if you're any bit of conscious, then you should understand about the huge brainwashing that had to happen on this American soil. I'm convinced that the energy that is here is unlike any other place in the world. That's the reason why a lot of the waves and a lot of things start from us. When the brainwashing happened, where we forgot about our spirituality, we forgot about you know, how we used to govern ourselves and all of that, you know, we got to the point where slowly we became subject to this system that we've been under for a little bit. Since everything is everything, and I truly feel like that as souls, a lot of us choose to be recycled to come back here. Since we're not under the same type of laws and systems that we used to be under, for this was even a huge thing. A lot of the divinities and a lot of the different darker paths, a lot of the different paths that we have to do in order for different gods and goddesses in human form to be formed and created and stuff like that, the different paths that you got to go on, since this system is such it's pretty much against everything that we were naturally supposed to be able to do, so that we can become certain things. You know, a lot of those paths now are looked at as evil. There's really no place for these paths really in this society. And the people who decide that they don't want to change to be a part of this new system, these people are known as outcasts. It's kind of like in basketball where you had a lot of people, they didn't want to join the NBA because of all the rules and stuff. So the way the system was set up and told to everybody was that you gotta go to this school, and then in order for you to be a part of what actually runs the world as you know it, you gotta go to college, and you gotta go and get a degree and all of that type of stuff, you know, masonry type of stuff. And even talking about then, you had certain secret societies that a lot of these colleges, if you were part of this college, if you were a certain race, you know, all that stuff, you had these secret societies that run the world. That was always a thing. Remember, everything that you see that black people had to do in this world, it was always about rebellion with a small dash of inclusion and integration. Because for a long time, you didn't think about black person and college educated in the same sentence. It put this type of illusion up to where you ain't really made it in life unless you went to college, and you ain't made it in life until you went to a white college and stuff like that. That's how they created the system. It's a bullying type of system. They bully you into wanting to be a part of what they're a part of because there's an illusion that this is what's popping, even though it never was. It never was the case. So it got to the point where these places were damn near bullied into allowing black people to come to their colleges and come to their universities and all this type of stuff. Now, when it came to the secret societies that run the world, they was like, okay, they'll never be a part of this, but in order for our covers not to be blown when it comes to that, we got to kind of allow for something that can be made to where it is a small mirror of who we are when it comes to prestige, even though we know that the Black Boule, they don't really run anything in the world per se, like the Skull and Crossbones and the Prince Hall. They don't run anything that they're a part of, but it's kind of like a social type of thing. It's a social illusionary type of honor that was created being a part of the Boule. And there's so many videos about the Boule, what they are in control of. The Boule is pretty much what the Woman King was about. You know, the Boule is kind of like the Dahomey tribe. A bunch of sellouts that are handpicked to be a part of this. And just like the NBA, you have to leave your identity outside the door. So when we think about the AI aspect of it, this is where the Divine Nine comes in. The Divine Nine, as a whole, represent when Allen Iverson came into the NBA. Just like how Allen Iverson's essence represented the street ball, you know, represented everything that made basketball so popular in the streets. And Allen Iverson brought as much of that as he can into the NBA. This is what the early Divine Nine sororities and fraternities, this is what they represented in college. We're showing y'all that not only can we be civilized black people, go to y'all schools, make good grades, get in y'all's colleges, but we're also going to create our own version of what y'all have, and we're going to add our flavor to it. We're going to add our civil rights flavor into it, our abolitionist flavor into it, and we're going to make it something that all aspiring black kids that want to make a difference in their community want to aspire to do. In each of these systems, whether we're talking about sports, whether we're talking about entertainment, whether we're talking about education, politics, there was always a point in time where a situation ended up happening that led to a crack in what we thought was a solid foundation. And so when this crack happened, the same people, places, things, organizations that acted as someone who was supposed to quote unquote fix it, instead of fixing it with cement, they fixed it with duct tape. There was a lot of infiltrations that happened that ended up corrupting all of the things that we thought was something that we could hang our hat on. In the music industry, we've all heard one of the guys that was in Bone Thugs, he was talking about the infamous meeting that happened, where the infamous meeting that started gangster rap. And as we know it, gangster rap it started a downward spiral into what we have today, where someone like a YFN Mika could even fit in. So now, even when we talk about black movies and stuff like that, we had the blaxploitation era, all of that type of stuff. Look at black representation in movies now, how crazy it is, you know. But the way things are now couldn't have flew back in the day. You know, we were too conscious. The same way with government. I feel like Obama was a Trojan horse. Clinton was a Trojan horse. Same thing. And we also know what happened in the 80s that changed the scope of the Divine Nine sororities and fraternities, and the reason why they are what they are today. See, there was always a period in the past to where certain systems were created by us, and these systems were created by us in order to cloak our true identities. Because there was a time where we knew who we were, but we knew that in order for us to not get killed off, we had to cloak our true identity within these systems. And that's the reason why these systems ended up being so powerful. So it started to get to a point to where this is the time that our ancestors were always talking about. This is the time to where everything that used to be hidden, it needs to come out to the forefront because it's needed right now. Case in point, the reason why Santeria was created was because the real spiritual system was being cloaked using the Catholic saints and stuff like that. Well, there's been a crack in the foundation of that, and you're having a lot of people who are able to infiltrate, because a lot of us forgot the real reason why Santeria was created. So the people who still know the true information, it's time to come out and tell the truth. The women back in the day in the country who still remembered about hoodoo, a lot of these women hid in the church as very dignified Christian women, but they never forgot their hoodoo roots, and they would hide amongst the people. We all know a grandmama that used to have them candles and stuff in the attic. You know, their grandmama that used to, they used to know all the crazy home remedies that actually worked, but she hid that under being Christian. It's time. We're in a time now to where Christianity is so corrupt. We need our true knowledge for these new children that's coming out now. We need for the true knowledge to be told to them. We don't got to hide it no more. Right now, everybody crazy. We don't need to hide no more who we are, because there's some people out here and they think they're crazy, but they're really not. The true reason why, even on a deeper level, why a lot of these black sororities and fraternities were created, it wasn't 100% just about black empowerment. There was a lot of knowledge that a lot of these spooks who sat by the Masonic doors, there was a lot of knowledge that these guys and that these girls ended up finding out. And they knew at the end of the day that the masses were in a state to where they would never be able to understand if they just came out and said it. So instead, they ended up cloaking this secret information and pairing it along with these sororities and fraternities. And the reason why you see a lot of the craziness that is going on today is because these children, these kids, they're practicing a lot of the same outer shell rituals, but they don't understand where it came from. They're not truly debriefed on why certain things had to be hidden, why certain things had to be done. And at the end of the day, we're in a time now to where it's no longer a need to be hidden anymore. It needs to come out. You got young kids out here that are fiending for this information. A lot of us, we never would have expected in our lifetime to see this. But this is the reason why our ancestors did what they did, was because of this time that we're coming in right now. There's no longer a need for black secret societies anymore. I mean, haven't y'all noticed yet? Like, haven't y'all got it in y'all head yet who the real enemy is? There's no need for it to be hidden anymore. It's time for the Avengers to assemble. It's time to assemble. The masses are controlled by the waves. The reason why there's been a push to effeminize the black man and to uplift the black woman over the black man is because at the end of the day, the more feminine you are, the less balanced you are, the more, be susceptible to these waves that this system is putting out here. The more you're liable to want to pay attention to these waves. And the more you pay attention to it, the more you want to be a part of it, because you start to see all the masses who are in a trance because of this wave that they're paying attention to. That's the whole attention is currency illusion. And speaking of currency, the strong currency is the reason why the wave is so powerful. That's why the biggest war has always been about currency. And the stronger the wind that pushes against the current, the higher the wave is going to be. And we know that wind, that has a lot to do with intelligence, knowledge. This is why education has always been important, because that's where the indoctrination starts at, when you're not properly educated. So this is where the breakdown is going to start. You need to understand what goes into the waves. What goes into the waves that has us so entranced. The waves that you pay attention to that makes you want to be a part of certain organizations, or just makes you want to be a part of certain things. Because that's what a lot of these sororities and fraternities are named after. Different waves, right? I remember a few years ago when I was in Georgia, there was this song that came out, and it was called, it was a song and it was about never let a nigga ride your wave. That song is starting to ring more and more true as I go into this research. And y'all are definitely going to see where I'm coming from with this. I bet some of y'all probably got an idea where I'm going to go if you stayed this long. But yeah, it kind of makes you think, don't it? What's up, y'all? I hope y'all enjoyed that video, and if you stayed to the end, I appreciate you. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, I want to redirect you to my Instagram page. I don't promote my Instagram page a lot, but as my subscriber count and things like that rise due to things like shadow banning and stuff like that, I'm hearing that a lot of people aren't getting my notifications when I go live on YouTube and stuff like that. So for all things BandClap TV, my Instagram page and my story are going to have all of the notifications and things like that when it comes to when I'm going live, when I'm going, when I'm releasing videos, when I'm releasing content. Also on my Instagram page, if you're curious about my reviews for my readings and stuff like that, as you can see on my Instagram, I have a lot of different testimonials and stuff like that. For those who don't know of me as an artist, I also have videos of me performing and stuff like that. I'll be putting out more stuff like that very, very soon. So I'm just trying to get as many people right now to go ahead and follow me on Instagram. That is BandClap TV. And also my Facebook and Snapchat, BandClap TV as well. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. And like I always say, no matter what, you got to stay shining.